What is going on, everyone? My name is Aquarius. Welcome to the draft analysis for the Global Ubers Union, otherwise known as the GUU. I've been calling it the GUU. I don't know if other people have been calling it that, but that's what I've been calling it. So yeah, I like calling it the GUU, so I'm going to call it the GUU. This is my first Wi-Fi league, which is going to be really, really fun. My first Wi-Fi league I've ever taken a part in, right at the end of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. So I can't wait to do it. I've never done it before. It's going to be a very much new experience. It's going to be the first time I'm playing Ubers as well, which is going to be really fun. First time playing Ubers even generally. I don't think I've ever really seriously played it on the ladder either. But it's going to be a lot of fun. This is also the first draft I've done in a very long time that's tier based, so that was really fun. And there's a lot of awesome names. I usually don't take part in leagues that are upload required. I've actually never taken part in an upload required league, so definitely a lot of new faces, a lot of YouTuber. Every person I'm facing is on YouTube, which is really cool. The only familiar face is Dreadful Dragonite of the Los Ampharos, who we faced every now and then in a few different leagues. But other than that, everyone else is a new face to the channel, although I was friends with some of the people going into this, such as Obo, the leader of the tournament, as well as Shaykwaza, who's on my Clang team, as well as Zombie, who we both helped Dreadful Dragonite build for his other league in the PCL, I think is what it is. But everyone else is sort of a new face to me, so I'm really, really excited to meet a bunch of new people. I'm going to do a few quick shoutouts just in case I forget to in the other sort of like weeks that will exist in the Global Ubers Union. First, I want to give a massive shout out, huge shout out to Aaron2420, I think is what it is. This man is a godsend. He helped me get my 3DS be able to get Gend Mons, and then he also helped me make it so I can get to the end of the game without having actually to do anything, which is going to really help me out, thankfully. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. As well as a few other people. Obviously, a massive shout out to Obo for running this thing. A huge shout out to Blinn for helping me figure out Photoshop, as well as making the awesome GUU graphics that you see on your screen. Other major shout outs both go to Tangla Boots and the One Guy. These two people helped me build this draft, and you're definitely going to see it's a little bit unconventional compared to what I typically draft. Because it's very, it's most similar to the One Guy, the way he would draft. So very, very fun there. Also, shout out to Blind Messiah. Sean helped me out a lot there. And I think that's all I got. Obviously, shout out to everyone else in the league who was welcoming and happy to have a very new face to the upload required scene or the Wi-Fi scene, things like that. So yeah, everyone's been super friendly in this league, and honestly, just really excited to be a part of it. Try out Wi-Fi for the first time. All the games will be post-com, which is something very different from what is typically on the channel, but I have to because I don't have my own thing. What do you call it? Capturing system, capture card. So yeah, I gotta do that. But we get like clean graphics and thumbnails, unlike the freaking like PowerPoint made stuff that you see on the channel. So it goes up here. It goes uphill from here. So it's gonna be fun. Anyway, draft analysis. That's what we're doing today. Yeah, you see it on your screen. I got Giratina Origin. Oh, I should probably talk about how the draft works too. The way it worked is that what happened was there were 5 tiers: tier 1, tier 2, and then 2 tier 3, 2 tier 4, and 1 tier 5. You were only allowed to get 1 tier 1 and 1 tier 2. As well as within each tier, there was like a subsection of points. So there was like a lower end. So there was like the tier 1 was split into 2, and the tier 2 was split into 2. And if you got the lower half of those tier 2s, you got extra points in your free slots. And I believe we got 220 in our free slots, and then you would get 20 points extra if you drafted sort of a lower rank tier 1 or tier 2. And then the other tiers like tier 3, tier 4 were divided as well, but you didn't get bonuses from those. If you drafted them in the regular spots, they would just, you would get like a lower tier, tier 4 in your free picks, for example, and that would just be a cheaper cost on a draft. It's very hard to explain, but it's sort of similar, a little bit more complex form of GBA tiers. I don't actually watch the GBA or know what the hell is going on there, but I was just told that that is what it was. So yeah, okay. Hopefully that made sense. If not, other coaches and things will explain how the draft works a lot better than I did. And all those links will be in the description below of all the coaches being a part of this league. So that's going to be really, really fun. Anyway, Giratina Origin. Let's do this. So every single person up to my point in the draft got a tier 1. Now here's the thing is, say that trend continues, right? And everyone gets a tier 1, including myself. 16 people have a tier 1. We're done. We're done with tier 1s. We don't have to care about tier 1s anymore. It's fine. Tier 2 comes along, and then everyone starts getting tier 2s. And the thing about the tier 2 in this league is there were literally 16 tier 2s, and there are 16 teams. So I'm like, shit, I do not want to be, like, I want to get, like, a tier 2 that's, like, good. Because, like, all the tier 1s are good. They're all, like, broken Ubers. So I want to get first dibs on a tier 2. And if that means I have to pick a worse off tier 1, that's fine. I'll get extra points. I don't really care. Like, none of the tier 1s were shouting to me as much as Giratina Origin was. Elliot, aka the one guy, really said this mon is super powerful, super good, immediate hazard clear, and its typing is just so good. It's so hard to prep for. And honestly, I'm super excited about it. No one else drafted regular Giratina, which is going to make my Giratina definitely sort of like a unique threat in its own. But yeah, compared to the other tier 2s there were, like AG Slash or like Battle Bond Greninja, like Giratina Origin knocks all those out of the park. So I wanted to get Giratina Origin. I didn't want any of the other shit. So I got Giratina Origin. If that means I got a lower tier 2, that was fine. But yeah, I just got Giratina Origin. It's really nice. It can defog, it can set up Call Mines, it can Pain Split, it can Rest Talk. It has insane recovery, it has priority Shadow Sneak, it can be run both physically and specially, it has 120 base power Shadow Force, which is like a physical move, a physical ghost move that's as strong as close combat, but it takes 2 turns, but it doesn't matter. The one thing is that this thing can't hold an item, which is kind of shitty, but I don't really care because its item is sort of like a boost in itself because it gets a boost to dragon and ghost type moves, so I don't mind it. I sort of see it as like a mega form in a way, like the way I think about it. Like, it doesn't need to hold an item to be good. It just like has an automatic buff in the way that it's built as a Pokemon. So I really like Giratina. I thought it was a really nice round 1 pick, and I believe me and only one other person were the only people to pick up tier 2s in our thing, and everybody else got a tier 1. So I was thinking to myself, like, I guess I'll get a tier 1 next round, right? And just get that there. But the person before me who had picked their tier 2 in round 1 picked their tier 1, and I'm looking around, I'm like, it's already round 2, and I'm the only person who hasn't picked a tier 1. Thank God I can just wait till the end. So I'm not going to be picking a tier 1 till the end of this draft because everyone by my second round already picked a tier 1. So I have time to think over, mull over what I want my tier 1 to be while getting first dibs on my tier 3s, my tier 4s, etc., which I was so happy for. So yeah, tier 3 was going to go along with the original plan of this draft, and that was Giratina Coco offense, because I've always wanted to use Tapu Koko, but I've never been able to. And then it got picked 2 rounds for me, and I was scrambling, and I was like, shit, I'm done, I don't know what to do, like, the plan is over, I wanted speed, I want all that stuff. Elliot's like, doesn't matter, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it, because you're going to make a bulky-ass team because Giratina is good at that. And I said, oh, no, I'm an offense player. I don't know how to do that sort of stuff. But he convinced me to do it, so I did it. And I've sort of wanted to use Celesteela. Like, I don't know. I've been using it on the ladder as a offensive autonomized set. Although I obviously know the Leech Seed set is a lot better. So I think I'm definitely going to bring in that most games. It's just going to be something I'm going to have to get used to. But Celesteela is a good mon, because it's obviously, if you don't prep for it, you're screwed. And between prepping for Celesteela and Giratina Origin, like, that shit's kind of scary. Like, let me tell you, like, what do you have to, like, both of those mons demand so much coverage, even though they're not 4 times weak mons, they demand so much coverage. Because if you can't touch Giratina Origin, that shit's walling you. If you can't get a super effective move on Celesteela, that shit's also walling you. So, I don't know. I feel like it forces definitely a lot of different coverage brings that are going to be really, really nice to have. And I think they aid each other in that way. Not to mention they really well switch into each other's moves, things like that. Leech Seed, even though Giratina Origin's HP stats really high, Leech Seed into Giratina is going to be pretty nice. As well as sort of just being an awesome steel wall. I don't know. Like, that shit's just good. I don't know. It seems good. I like Celesteela. I don't know really what it does, in all honesty. I just picked it because I think it seems like a good mon. You know, the other tier 3s were, like, not phenomenal. Like, Celesteela and Excadrill were tiered the same. And that's the thing with tier-based thing is, like, I don't know. You get, like, the same shit for like the same, you get like different shit for the same price, so you want to get all the value picks like as early as you possibly can, and Celestia was way better than all the other stuff in the same tier. So, you know, I'm just gonna have to figure out how to use it. I think it's gonna be fun. I definitely wanted to try a new playstyle, and I think it's actually gonna be really nice for me on Wi-Fi, because a mon that can like sort of like spam protect or spam leech seed, things like that, is going to give me more time to think about my plays and not have to like freak out about the timer. Like if I was drafting a hyper offense team, I would have to like think about the timer a lot more. Well, not think about like timer stalling a lot more, but like my plays and decision making time would be like sort of pressed by the timer. And with this sort of slower play style that I'm now shifting towards, it was going to be a more offensive play style with Giratina and Coco, but now with this more defensive play style I'm shifting towards, I feel more comfortable taking my time, playing at a slower pace to ultimately think out my plays like I do in Showdown. Although there is no cancel button, so I'll have to keep that in mind for the actual draft. Or for the actual games, I should say. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I think Celesteela is really cool. I think it gets a lot of coverage that people don't use. Like, people always either run Flamethrower, Earthquake, and Heavy Slam. But, like, it gets Air Slash, because that's stab. It gets, like, Energy Ball. It gets, like, a few other things, I think. I don't know. But, like, it definitely gets a little bit more than people expect. Definitely some, like, niche sets, too. Like, Metal Sound I've seen works pretty well. So hopefully it ends up working out. I think Celesteela is cool. I think it'll be fun. I don't know. I'm just trying to have fun in this league. I mean, yeah, I'm taking it a ton, like, seriously because it's my first Wi-Fi league. And every single person in this league is, like, really good. Like, every single person in this league is, like, really solid. Like, probably better than, like, this is probably the most competitive league I will have on the channel in terms of how good the competition is. And my goal is, like, maybe to go even. Like, I don't know. Usually I get, my past few leagues I've been doing pretty well. Like, in PIBA, as of now, I'm 11-0. But this is going to go up, like, probably after I finish playoffs, whether or not I win it or not. But we'll see. But, like, PIBA, I went undefeated. ABC, I went undefeated. And, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that to gloat. I'm just saying, like, I don't think those leagues hold a candle to, like, the competitive level this will be. So my goal is, like, to break even. That'll be fun. And I think Celesteela is going to be a nice tool to help me do that. And the rest of the team will be as well. Sorry, that was a tangent. But you already know what's next. We got a dragon. We got a steel. As much as I don't like naming cores like Dragon Fairy Steel, there's only one mon that logically makes his team as, like, disgusting as would be that would make it as effectively disgusting as possible, which is something that we want because we want to win and also try new playstyles and have fun. And I also just think this mon, once again, is one of those mons that, like, is a very powerful, strong defensive wall, but also, like, has decent offensive potential, and that's Clefable. So, like, Clefable's really solid. Like, it's one of those things, like, people are going to prep really hard for Giratina, people are going to prep really hard for Celesteela, and then they're, like, just, like, not going to prep for, like, a Calm Mind Stored Power set, or, like, a Life Orb Magic Guard set, or something like that. T-Wave spam is super nice for things like Celesteela and Giratina, which are they're not necessarily slow, but, like, they would like T-Wave to help them out. It's our first rocker. We need a rocker. Usually when I look for a steel type, I always try to get a steel type that has rocks, but Celesteela doesn't get rocks, so fairy type with rocks, Clefable, it works. Also really, really good coverage options with, like, everything, because that Gen 1 coverage is really nice. You got things like Thunderbolt, you got things like Fire Blast, you got things like Grass Knot, you got things like Ice Beam, all that. That's really fun. Like I said, Life Orb, Magic Guard. 2 really nice abilities, Unaware and Regenerator. Or not Regenerator, what am I saying? Magic Guard. Unaware and Magic Guard. Magic Guard's going to be really, really nice. I'm not weak to rocks or anything like that, but, like, I don't know. I don't have the best Hazard Clear right now, and we'll end up seeing how the rest of the draft goes, but, like, just having a team that's continuously not weak to hazards is going to be really nice to just not have to think about hazards as much, because I obviously don't care about hazards. And then Clefable is just really nice to pass Wishes into Celesteela, as well as Giratina, because neither of them have recovery outside of Leech Seed and Pain Split, respectively. Like I said, Calm Mind's cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool mon. I think Clefable also is just, like, there's a lot of dragons in the format, so getting a high tier fairy is really, really nice. So that's it. That's Clefable. Is there anything I'm missing about Clefable? I don't think so. What came next? I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, Thundurus. Thundurus Therian. I wanted Thundurus Therian because I wanted a pivoter. I didn't have a pivoter yet, and I really like high tier pivoting. I also thought Thundurus Therian was pretty nice because Celesteela's biggest issue is electric attacks, and having a flying type as well as an electric type. I don't know, just having like a mon that like can switch into electric types attacks because of Volt Absorb is really, really nice to pair with Celesteela. Just being able to pivot's really cool. I didn't really have a necessary like fast setup sweeper, nor did I have anything over the 100 speed tier. I think Thundurus is like 101. I could be wrong. But that's really, really nice. Another like T-Wave spreader in a way, because it can just spam discharge if I want it to. Two forms of pivoting and U-turn and T-Bolt's really cool. Both agility and nasty plot is also really cool. Also really strong ample recovery options, things like Dark Pulse, Sludge Bomb, Grass Knot, Flash Cannon maybe, Thunderbolt. I'm sure I'm missing out on a few other things, but like, I don't know, pretty good. On top, it could just be like a good setup sweeper. It could also like be relatively defensive. Like I know it's a weird statement to make, but like I don't know if it can probably run like a decent like 50% berry set or just something that's a bit more bulky offense oriented. Not to mention it's another defogger, so Thundurus and Giratina both give us defog options, which is great. Don't want to be scrambling for defoggers and hazard clears later on in the draft. So that is Thundurus. Thundurus is very cool. He will be a friend to everyone on the team. I don't know. I've also just always wanted to use Thundurus. Another mon that I've never used. Every single mon that I've drafted so far is a mon that I've never used in format except for Clefable. So we'll see if that trend keeps up. But Clefable's the only mon I've ever used in format, and that was like once, and that was like 2.5 years ago. Like I think it was like Gen 6 or like the very beginning of Gen 7. So I don't know. But Thundurus is gonna be really fun. I'm probably missing something, but I don't know. I'll just leave that up to the rest of the games in my building and things like that. Okay, Nidoking's next. I didn't like the fact that my only hazard setter was Clefable. I also think that ground types are super necessary in the sense that like they stop just electric attacks, things like that. And I didn't want Thundurus to be my only electric switch in. I also just like the fact that like Nidoking takes off hazard setting pressure off of Clefable and has things with toxic spikes and rocks. I also like didn't really know much about Nidoking before this NCP tournament I was in, which you can find on the channel. And I used it in Tour, and it was like so good. It was like unreal. And like everyone just drafts it in Tour to like be like the Tapu Koko check, but I like never faced Tapu Koko, and Nidoking was definitely like the star of the team. Like there's many situations in which like you can just look at a team and be like, okay, Life Orb, Sheer Force, Nidoking, just like with like 3 moves, in some cases even 2, like hits this entire team either neutrally or super effectively. So on top of that, things like Toxic Spikes and Stealth Rocks, like I said, things like, I don't know, that's basically all it is, just hits hard and then, you know, sets up hazards. I mean, that's what it does. It's really good at that. What is it, week 2? I mean, it's week 2. I'm starting to develop a little bit of an ice weakness, which is a little bit annoying, but I'll patch that up later. I don't have a single ice resist right now since my steel type is a flying type as well, but we're going to start to patch that up a lot later, considering we have 3 ice weeks of this, but that is okay. Don't even worry about it, because the rest of the draft will be better in that regard. So, anyway, yeah, that. Cool. All right, so that's Nidoking. Nidoking is a really nice guy. I'm probably missing some other stuff. Yeah, I guess like Roar. It's phasing. It's cool. It's probably the first mon outside of Thundurus maybe that's like a really solid Scarf mon. So that's really nice. But that's about it. Nidoking's a cool dude. I think it's better than Nidoqueen. Don't at me. Next mon is Klefki. It's another hazard clear, which I actually didn't know when I drafted it. I just wanted to get like all the forms of hazards because I had rocks, I had T-spikes, now I just needed spikes. Sticky webs doesn't count. I just wanted spikes. And then T-wave spam is really cool. And honestly, just like I was just picking up as much T-wave spam as possible, and I think it's been really nice. Like T-wave spam everything, go in with Nidoking, go in with offensive Celesteela, go in with powerful offensive Giratina Origin if I need to, or the complete opposite. And it sort of contributes to this sort of stallier team with Celesteela, Clefable, Giratina Origin. Even Nidoking can be played rather relatively stally. But like Klefki is like the definition of having like cool tech in the sense of like it gets some weird ass shit. I mean, it gets recycled, so you can play recycle games. It gets like magic coat. It gets like yeah, it just gets a bunch of cool shit, just a bunch of like niche cool moves. Not to mention things like foul play, and it gets pretty decent dual stab. Steel fairy is really really nice. Now, I know this is starting to look a little bit weird because I already have a fairy and I already have a steel, but I think Klefki is like not necessarily. I don't think it fills like a steel type role on the team. It just fills a role on the team that's like cool support that the rest of the mons want. Like for example, screens into Thunderous, dope. Screens into Clefable, really dope. But also like spike stacking into like an offensive more play or something like that. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I just don't see it as like a mon that's like would be like a staple steel type on the team. I think it's more like the staple. It's more like the staple support mon on the team, if that makes sense. And it's not that bad. Like it doesn't share any weaknesses with Clefable. It only shares a fire weakness with Celesteela. Like that's fine. We have a decent fire switch in Giratina Origin, and then we'll have many more down the road. But yeah, Klefki is really cool. I just like the idea of spamming things and going crazy and just running really niche, unexpected sets. It also gets like Calm Mind, Iron Defense, things like that. I've seen that set work sometimes. Seems good. Draining Kiss, all those things. Set up Klefki, maybe. We'll see. But yeah. Next one is Starmie. Starmie's cool. I didn't actually get it for the spin because I thought I was like pretty set on hazard clearing between Thundy and Klefki and Giratina, but I wanted speed on this team because my fastest thing is Thunderous, and Starmie was the fastest water type. And I also liked the idea of a psychic type, which I did not have yet. And I think Starmie is like really underrated. Like the fact that like it just like when new defoggers came out in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, like people just like didn't really pay much more attention to Starmie anymore, and it sort of dropped in usability in both Draft League and OU play. And I think that's a mistake. Like I think analytic Starmie is really really nice. It has a ton of coverage. It has a few niche moves, things like Reflect type and Thunder Wave and all that fun stuff. Recovery is really cool. Like outside of Clefable, I don't have any mons that like get like just straight up recover or roost or something like that. So I really like Starmie. It's just a hard hitter, which is something that like I have in Nidoking, but I don't have like a fast hard hitter. And that's really cool. Not to mention it also gets a few niche things like I think it's Cosmic Power. I'll run Confuse Ray. I don't give a fuck. But also like I think Natural Cure is the other cool thing that it has because you already know that like people are going to try and spam like hazards against like not hazards status against things like Giratina and Clefable and like even Celesteela in some cases. So Starmie's just a really nice soak up for those with Natural Cure, which is going to be really cool. So I'm a fan of Starmie. That's basically all I got. Just gets cool moves like Grass Knot and Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Psychic, Hydro Pump. That's all you need, right? I'm sure there's a ton more. Flash Cannon, Dazzling Gleam. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Round 8. Swallow. More speed, more offensive power is cool. I wanted a normal type because some teams end up being normal weak sometimes, and it's kind of sad. So this is literally the most normal weak team Punisher there is because Specs Boomburst is powerful. Guts is equally as powerful with Facade. It gives me another clear, although I will probably never run Defog Swallow, but hey, you never know. It just seems really strong, and it's definitely like one of those mons that like I was debating between getting Swallow in tier 5 and sacrificing speed and getting Staraptor in tier 4 instead. But it would have made my team relatively slow and probably would have forced it into a more defensive role every week. But the reason I went with Swallow over Staraptor is because I was doing calcs, and like it's still 2 shots most of the meta with whichever set you choose, whether you go physical or special. So I don't mind that. I will happily take it for a tier 5 pick, and I don't know, works out for me. I just wanted these low tier. I didn't want to get like weird defensive stuff for the low tier because I was like, all right, I already have like some of the best walls in the game. So I'm not going to really worry too much about defense. I'm just going to get sort of like hard hitters that like if a team happens to be weak to this mon, it'll be really nice to have. Not to mention another pivoter, because I think my only pivoter at this point is still Thunderous. So having another U-turner mon to just go back and forth with Thunderous in a more offensive way is going to be really, really cool. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Swellow. I like Swellow a lot here. Yeah, it's a good time. So next mon you can see is Metacham. Metacham's a cool mon. It was actually the first mon that I saw on the draft list that I was like, I want this mon. Like I knew I wanted this mon before I wanted Giratina. It was the first mon on this team that I knew I wanted, because the rest of the 20 pointers were like shit, like fucking, I don't know, you would be trash. It would be like trashy mons that are like, 20 points, and they were just not as good. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. People came into my door, but anyway, sorry if you hear voices, things like that. But Metacham is cool because I don't have a fighting type yet. And what was I going to say? I saw Metacham on the tier list, and it would just look so much more strong compared to everything else in the 20-point tier. So I was like, priority, super hard-hitting mon. It like is equivalent to like a Kyurem Black, I think, if you factor in huge power in terms of its attack stat. Scarf Metacham's just really cool. Things like bulk up sets are really nice. Priority and Bullet Punch. Another psychic type, which is cool. Like a physical psychic type is not something you normally see. So, some team may end up being weak to that. Not to mention it's also a psychic type that like dark types can't switch into that well. Like yes, ghost types can, but like not dark types, because Metacham will obliterate them. I just think it's a niche mon that will end up beating a lot of cool things. Not to mention, while I do have really solid resist in Klefki and Starmie, I am still relatively worried sometimes about Ice-type mons, so just having something that has priority that beats Ice-type mons, as well as super effective damage that beats Ice-type mons, really, really solid. So I really like that. Yeah, I think that's about it with Metacham. That's basically all it does. It's just a lesser form of Mega Metacham, although I'm like pretty sure from stuff I've heard that like Life Orb Metacham hits harder than Mega Metacham, but I might be wrong. But I think that might be true. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. But I definitely want to bring Metacham to a lot of games because I think it was mistiered, and I think that it's a lot better than the lowest tier in the tier list. Like it was paired along things like, I don't know, Go-Go. Like it's just like I don't think they're similar at all. So yeah, next one. Mega Sharpedo. So the other great thing is that I didn't have to worry about tier 1 is by like midway through the draft, I didn't have to worry about my Mega either. I was considering picking this up like tier 5, but this is like the first league I'm in where you don't have to Mega first turn. So Sharpedo definitely likes that, and I think that given that information, like Mega Sharpedo is a little bit underpriced, in the sense that like Mega Sharpedo is really good at just coming in as regular form, clicking Protect once, and just cleaning an entire team. Like damage outputs on things like Trunch and Psychic Fangs and Ice Fang, even Liquidation I think it gets now. I might be wrong. Waterfall's still good. Really, really solid. It just comes in and bops a ton of stuff, cleans up late game. It's a late game cleaner, sort of like it's just like it's a late game cleaner that like I don't really have on my team yet. I don't really have like a mon that just comes in, outspeeds everything, and ends the game. I guess like Swellow maybe, but like Mega Sharpedo fits that role even better. Not to mention I really need a dark type. I think dark types are really crucial to have in the format. And also just having a second water type is really cool. It doesn't force Starmie in an offensive position if I need it to be. And yeah, that's really nice. And then the last pick that we have is Reshiram. So that was a tier 1 pick that we ended up going with. I was debating between a few things. I was debating between the Shaman Sky, because it gave me some nice speed, and it gave me a grass type, which I didn't have. I was thinking about Necrozma Dawn Wings, but I already had a ghost type in Giratina and 2 psychic types. I was thinking about Zygarde 100%, but I couldn't go with Zygarde 100% based on the tier distributions because I was in the higher tier. I had a few other options. I could have gone with, I believe, no, not Dialga. That might be it. I don't know. Maybe Zekrom. I don't remember what was actually still there or not there. But I think Reshiram is the best fit. I don't mind Double Dragon. I've doubled up on a lot of types here, but they have very different roles. And I think people saying that doubling up on types is a bad thing aren't well-informed players. Like I'm gonna say that in like a really nice way, or I don't mean to say that in a mean way. Like I just think like that's like a very like basic level assumption that you don't give much thought, because like Reshiram and Giratina Origin share one weakness in Dragon. I have Celesteela and Clefable. I don't give a fuck. So already, like, that element of it doesn't matter. And two, like, things like Klefki and Clefable, they do very non-similar things, very different things for me. Although if I want them to switch roles or do different things, I can. I just think it allows me to have some versatility in the draft. Like, if a team is really Dragon weak, I can choose between Giratina Origin and Reshiram and then make the other one a more supportive role, which is really, really nice and useful. Like, that's the point of draft. Like, you want to make your draft as fluid as possible, and you want to make it in a way that, like, you can shift what mons get what roles every week. And I think this draft allows me enough flexibility to do that. Even if all of them together don't mesh really well, my ability to pick and choose each one to have a different role every week. And I think every single mon on this draft is something, maybe outside of Medicham and Mega Sharpedo, every mon on this draft is something that I can run completely differently every single week, is something that's going to be really beneficial for me in terms of being unpredictable and things like that. But in terms of Reshiram, very powerful mon. Blue Flare and Draco both are just insanely powerful moves. It gets Defog too, which I didn't know when I drafted it. Recovery and Roost, things like Earthquake as well. It just hits super, super hard, and that's basically all I really was asking for. Just having a fire type is really cool. And yeah, I'm excited to use Reshiram. I don't really much to say about it. I just saw Reshiram and I was like, I want Reshiram. I didn't really have as much thought as the other stuff. I just wanted to get like a good team from like the tier 2 to my free points, and then just get a really nice tier 1 and tack it on, and I think it worked out. So that's the draft. Week 1 against Blinn, who I was mentioning earlier, who made the graphics and things like that, goes up next week, presumably. I don't know when I'm actually putting this out, but I believe next week. Next week from when this is uploaded. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. I need to start building for it and thinking about it, but I gotta go do some stuff with my 3DS first before I think about that. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed the draft analysis. Be sure to stick around for future GUU content, things like that. Sorry if this is a little bit messy, as the family came in. If you heard anything in the background, I'm so sorry, but it's okay. Yeah, follow me on things, do stuff like that. I don't really care. But I do care because, I don't know, people are viewers and things like that. Hello. But yeah, that's the team. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, I guess, leave them in the comments. Because, like, I was thinking about maybe trying some free agents if this doesn't work. But it's only if it doesn't work. We'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a fun team to use. It's going to be unpredictable. It's going to be cool. I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you for watching. See you all next time.